What's up, guys? Dakota from CGL Fishing here, and today we're going to talk about the crazy stuff happening in the green sunfish tank. You guys are going to want to stick around for this one. So we have had quite the adventure the last few weeks in the green sunfish tank. I added leaf litter to cover a large part of the bottom of the tank. I used a mixture of dry leaf litter collected from around the house and some invertebrate-infested leaf litter pulled from a local river. I made a point to save as many of the creepy crawlies as I could. I did this because I've noticed these creepy crawlies induce more natural hunting behaviors from the sunfish, and I really love watching the natural behaviors of the fish. The leaf litter itself is also beneficial because, well, there's a variety of reasons, but it leaches some beneficial stuff into the water, and the fish really seem to appreciate it. Plus, I really think it looks amazing. I'm really enjoying the look. One thing I was not prepared for was how much of an apparent aphrodisiac the leaves would be. After adding a bunch of leaves, I caught one of the green sunfish fanning to make a nest. Fortunately, I wasn't able to get this on video, but it was the first time any of my green sunfish have done this. I used to see my red breast do this before this tank became a just green sunfish tank. Even though I had seen the fanning, I didn't really expect much to come of it. However, other things started happening. First off, aggression. I've never had any aggression issues for my green sunfish, but all of a sudden, a couple of the males had chased the rest of the fish to the top edges of the tank. I had pulled some decorations out of the tank, so I just assumed they were working through the new territories or what have you. And so I decided to just keep an eye on it, and if it got too bad that I needed to intervene, I could add decorations back to the tank or whatever I needed to do. A few days later, I was sitting in front of the tank and I noticed something was off. First off, one of the big males was hesitant to come to the surface for food. That is very out of the norm for these fish. They always seem to be hungry and usually attack the surface, splashing water out of the tank to get food, as you can see. Then I noticed he was hardly moving out of one corner of the tank. He would chase the other fish off and then come right back to his corner. And while he was in his corner, he wasn't swimming normal. Normally the sunfish don't move their fins a whole lot when they're floating in one place, but he was wiggling his fins around even when he was sitting still. All of this was enough to make me wonder what was going on, so I leaned in close. Eggs. There were little, round eggs all over the gravel and the rocks. And when I say all over, I mean there were hundreds of these things. These tiny little clear eggs were scattered all over in the area, and this big male was guarding a nest. I have never had this happen before. Over the next few days, I checked on the eggs nightly. They stayed healthy looking and didn't seem to be getting eaten. Both of these was probably due to the fact that they were being religiously guarded and fanned by the male. After several days, I'm not sure exactly how many, the eggs hatched. There were little larvae in the gravel. I have seen small fish before. I actually bred guppies before when I had a guppy tank, and these guys were itty bitty. I would venture to say they were probably smaller than the baby guppies, which is crazy because guppies are so much smaller than these sunfish. So I used a turkey baster to suck up a bunch of the babies and move them into a safe location. At this stage, they look like giant sperms. Sorry, but that is what they look like. Tapping on the container would send them into like this crazy mosh pit wiggling episode where they'd scoot all over the tank. They couldn't really swim yet, but they would wiggle all over and just shoot all over the bottom of this little tank I was keeping them in. Over the next week, I checked on them daily, waiting for them to become free swimming. Finally, one day, I found them swimming around. I moved many of them to a new tank that was full of microorganisms I found in the leaf litter. When I put the leaf litter into the main tank, I saved some pieces and some of the smaller invertebrates to put into the separate tank. My thought process was that the fry would be able to eat some of the microscopic critters that were swimming around, the ones that you can almost barely see with the naked eye, which there was a bunch of them. Oh, and after all of this, by the way, a second male made a nest and mated. I'm mixing footage in here of both just for ease of being able to show everything. But I will tell you that the second set of eggs did not make it, or at least most of them don't seem to have made it. This male was not quite as dedicated as the first male, and he left the nest a few too many times, I think, and I think the eggs got scooped up. I will definitely keep you guys updated on the process of raising these fry. My goal is to get one of the babies to survive so I can grow him into a water puppy. I want to raise him up from a tiny baby to eat out of my hand and be comfortable around me so that I can just go up to his tank and pet him and feed him and all that cool stuff. It'll be in a separate tank. If this all works out, we'll slowly upgrade that tank until we have one that's big enough for him long term. I'm going to put some footage in here now so you can see what the babies look like now. They have grown quite a bit. They're still hard to see. They're still tiny, but I would say they're about the size of guppy babies when they kind of emerge from the gravel. They're getting much bigger and they're really doing well. Putting them in with all the microorganisms was a really good call because they are eating something, obviously, because they're growing. All of the ones put in different containers, even like I had a tank set up that I thought they would do great in because they had all this algae and all that, they did not make it. So this is the only tank they've made it in. I have put some food in there, but I haven't been able to put much in because I don't have anything small enough, and I was kind of relying on the microorganisms, and it's working out well. So guys, thank you for watching. I know this wasn't very long, but if you want more updates, please hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment down below if you've ever raised baby fish. Tell me about your story, and hopefully we can get some of these guys to live to adulthood. I am really excited to see what happens. I've never seen baby sunfish this small. They are itty bitty. They are the tiniest things, I swear. But thank you guys for watching. God bless, and keep on fishing.